What is going on, everybody? Welcome back to another week of Tower Talk Show. I'm your host, The Beard. We have former Guardian here with us, as per usual, and of course, Not So Gamer. How you fellas doing?
Doing great.
Doing great.
Just dabbing.
Doing
What
awesome.
you guys been up to this week?
All the things, man. It's kind of the start of the week, but
Yeah.
Tuesday, you're right. It's been a week.
Tuesdays feel like it's the
seen each
Monday
other.
of Destiny. You know what I'm saying?
yeah,
It really is. It's the beginning. It's reset day.
Yep, exactly.
All the new things happen.
Yep.
All of the random and obscure exploits that people find get patched instantly. You know, everything happens on Tuesday.
It's Destiny. When things are things that don't break the game, they got to get fixed right away. You know?
Instantly.
now we just got to get Arms Day
Game
back
breaking things, though.
for Wednesdays.
Yeah.
But I did do like a hardcore stream with Devil on Saturday, and we helped a bunch of people get Anarchy, which is pretty cool.
Like
It was-
17.
Yeah,
right?
you guys had
17
your-
Anarchies handed out.
Yep, 17. We did about, I believe it was a little over 30 clears. We did like 30 runs, so it was quite a bit.
Does
That's
the
only
box have your
clears.
guys'
That's
names
only
written down?
clears. We did like there's a couple where there's a few people that we had to like restart the boss encounter, but almost everyone we were able to like do it first try, but it was good.
Did the boss write your guys' names down?
Yeah, pretty
Right.
much, man. We like engraved our names there and the boss, so now anybody that goes and sees us, they know we were there. Not So Gamer was here. We wrote it there, you know.
Took a pee on them, and Not So
our
Gamer
spot.
was here.
Yep. But it was awesome. It was awesome. I want to say like some of them haven't even had that raid cleared, so it was like part of their momentum of triumph too. So it worked out great. Like we were gonna do it on Xbox, but then we didn't get a good turnout. We ended up going to PC, and then like it just blew up. There was like over 27 people that registered, and it was just perfect. It worked out way great. So shout out to Devil, dude. It was bomb. We had a really good turnout.
That's freaking awesome.
Our good buddy Devil, friend of the show.
Yep.
So what prompted you guys to start the I don't know, like help stream, charity stream? What was your guys's?
Well, we've always all right. So I met Devil a few months back when I was looking for a newer clan, and I think I was streaming a little bit more. He was like in Mixer, and then Mixer was kind of going back and forth. You know, obviously it's gone now. But I was streaming on Facebook most of the time, and I went to Facebook hoping to return to Twitch, which now I'm back full time on Twitch, and now I'm affiliated, which is sweet. But the thing is, so I met him during that time, and he knew I was a streamer, and I knew he was a streamer. He knew I was a streamer, so it kind of like we were like, you know what? Why don't we together do something like this where we can help out the community? So we've been doing this. I think this was probably our third or fourth. If Devil, you're on the chat, just kind of remember. I don't remember how many we've done these, but so we've done some of these where before it was like we would make a list of what people wanted help with, was either comp or trials or dungeon clears or whisper or Albert, whatever people needed. We never really tied it down to specifically we're doing this only. But this is the first time we actually said, okay, look, we're gonna do it this way. We're just gonna go out and help. Yeah, okay, so it was our fourth. Thanks, Devil. So like this time was the first time we actually said, look, let's just help people get Anarchy. I think we'll get a better turnout, and it was. I mean, it was like almost a 9-hour stream. It was awesome, dude. It was perfect. So obviously we love people helped us in getting things done, and I know how hard it is to get 6 people to raid, and how hard it is to get things going. So you know, the least we could do is help people who haven't gotten Anarchy or haven't gotten, you know, certain weapons, that we can go out and help them out and do that.
Yeah, super cool, because Anarchy is also one of those weapons that's kind of top tier, and especially if you're going to be like doing solo runs on dungeons or anything like that, you know, it's a super helpful weapon. So
absolutely,
yeah, it's kind of locked out for a lot of people that don't have a group of 6 to hop into and go grind a raid over and over. So it's pretty cool.
Mm-hmm. Yeah, so it was great. It was great. So we do these every other week. We try to do one twice a month.
Okay.
Yeah.
Yeah, we'll have to announce it out here once you guys are getting ready to do the next one. So were there people that wanted to join in that didn't have a chance to? I mean, how big was the list of people that wanted to jump into this?
There was actually people that signed up that didn't show up, which kind of made it easier on us because obviously we had a big old turnout that we expected. And then like we had this one guy, I don't know what happened to him, but like he like jumped on Discord and then he couldn't like join the match. And then he was just like, you know what, it's cool, I'll just leave. We're like, no, like join us, like here's our join code, and he just couldn't join and he just peaced out. We're like, all right.
You
But
made him nervous, dude. He was like, "These guys are famous."
right, I guess, or something. But at the end of the day, like it was pretty cool. Like we did get a churn out, and everybody we ran did get the gun. Like we did not stop until that person got the drop. So that was mostly our goal. Like we had one guy, dude. I think he was like the second team that got in with us. And I mean, he was with us like for half the stream. Like he just would not drop for him. And we were just like other people would come in, other people were getting it, and he was like from Malaysia, and like it was like 2 a.m. where he was in, and he started. It was like 10 at night, and then he was just like, "Dude, I just want this thing to drop." I mean, when he got it, we were all happy for him. It was really cool.
Did you identify a bit, gamer?
Oh, a little bit. Yeah. I remember being in that. I remember being in his shoes.
Gamer's like, how many runs have we done? 5. Okay, about 25 more. You'll probably get it. Don't worry.
Right. But like I said, it was definitely a cool experience, and definitely I want to do that again.
That's awesome.
That's awesome.
Yeah. So shout out to Calm.
Cool.
He was the one that took forever to get it.
There you go. Hope he's listening.
Right.
It's cool that this is a game that just kind of lends itself to that, though. Like, I mean, I know you're I guess we'd say more of an up-and-coming streamer, right? I mean, you're building up your following, your recent Twitch affiliate, but there are enough people that watch you that like, okay, cool, I'm going to jump in with this guy and he's going to help me out. You know, it doesn't have to be the biggest names, the biggest content creators. It's just the community's full of people who just like the game, like helping people.
Yeah. Exactly, and that's what's kind of cool. Like, and thanks for giving me that love, but also like the devil, like shout out to him because like he sets it up. You know, he's always willing to go out and help out. So, and then just us tag teaming that is just really cool because like even when I first started streaming, like that's kind of what I was looking for, a partner to do things with, and it was kind of a blessing in disguise for both of us. Like we were able to like find each other like in this weird moment because when I met him, he was like in a weird like downfall season as well where. It was like season of the Worthy when I met him, I believe, and it was just downhill. Like he's done all the raids. So when I came in, like they taught me all the raids. So for me, I was like, whoa, look at this! Like this is cool. So it was like uplifting for both of us, you know. And like we were like, let's do this. Like let's be serious. It's like let's tag team these. So now we just kind of made it a habit where we're streaming together and helping each other out that way, and it's awesome.
I dig it. We're gonna have to we'll shout you out next time you guys do it so we can get you and Devil. He was saying in the chat that Master Rule is just gonna start selling it next season. That would be amazing.
Yeah. Or Zer's gonna have it next on the beginning of Beyond Light.
It'll be week 1 of Beyond Light. He's gonna hand it to you. That'd be awesome.
Freaking Raul.
Good old Bungie.
Yes, and it's a better love story than Twilight. Absolutely.
If you look into the void, so what kind of what builds have you guys been playing with this week? We're going back to our.
I'll let former Guardian start that one.
Yeah, he's got a cool one.
Yeah, he's got a bit.
I've been playing with a few fun ones. I guess this week is lost Beard for a second. This week being Iron Banner, I guess I've been playing with a pretty fun PvP build that we were doing some scrimmaging in a private match, and I put on Layman Arc a while ago and decided to use it on Blade Barrage, and I run Oath Keepers with not just with Layman Arc, but for those who don't know, because Oath Keepers gets a lot of crap as being like a worthless exotic and stuff.
I like it.
It's not just for being able to hold your arrow and have it not auto fire. The way bows work is there's a perfect draw, which is a window of about half a second to a second or so when the arrow is fully drawn, where it does max damage, and so that's how you apply poison with Layman Arc. But it's also how you do max damage with any bow, and if you hold it any time after that, between that point and when the arrow auto fires on its own, it does less damage. And so for the one side, it keeps you doing max damage no matter what bow you're using. You can be a bit more patient with it because it won't automatically fire your arrow. But more than that, I play M&K mostly. And using a mouse, Oathkeepers essentially gives you hip fire grip, because if you use a bow, if you're going to hip fire it, when the arrow's fully drawn, your accuracy cone tightens and it slowly starts expanding. And it doesn't expand when you have Oathkeepers because the arrow doesn't ever fire. So it allows me... Yeah, it allows me to be more accurate just firing from the hip, which has a ton of benefits. Your radar's always active. You move quicker because of your mobility stat and things versus being ADS'd. And so it has a lot of benefits. But especially with Limb and Arc, it basically guarantees you the poison arrow. Well, the build is just that the poison arrow essentially gives me my dodge back anytime I hit somebody, because one of the perks on the Way of 1,000 Cuts is when an opponent is burning, it gives you your dodge faster. So every couple ticks, you get like a third to a fourth of your dodge back, or a fourth to a third. And so I was actually only running like 30 mobility, but I had 100 recovery and 100 strength so that I could have my throwing knives up more often. And so I'd hit somebody with my bow. If they were rushing me, I'd chuck knives at them and it'd pretty much kill them instantly between the arrow and the knives. And if they were further away, I had a quick draw explosive payload, old fashioned, that was easy to swap over to. So it was kind of just a fun build. I run a lot of builds with bows, but it kind of just had some good synergy. Anytime I run Blade Barrage, I usually try and run a Phidias Faith, which is a bit bugged, if nothing else, on just that one skill tree, but sometimes it only gives you one knife throwback instead of the two it's supposed to. And so that was kind of the first time I was like, you know what, screw it. Like, yeah, I have 100 strength. I'll try and just rely on that to have my knives up, and I'm going to try just specking into my bow. And it worked out really well. I had low mobility, but I made up for it by getting my dodge back constantly with the poison arrows. Having my dodge up constantly let me get my throwing knives back if I ever needed it, but I really only chucked them if somebody was rushing me with a shotgun or something, and while they were closing the gap, it was an easy tap to the chest even with the arrow and throw the 3 knives at it. So kind of a fun build that had some synergy there with keeping my knives up, keeping my dodge up, and being able to accurately kind of be patient with my shots and do big damage. Limb and Arc does a ton of damage on hit, so it's a ton of fun.
So question then,
yeah,
do you think the tick, because if I remember the way the perk reads correctly on that middle tree gunslinger, it's getting a kill while enemies are burning. So do you think it's a glitch that the game somehow counts tick damage from poison as a burn? I guess it's all a burn, right? It's all a damage over time.
Yeah.
Is it a glitch? Do you think it's meant to work that way?
I don't. There might be some glitch at play because there's 2 perks on the tree. There's one that is playing with fire. If you get a kill while an opponent is burning, you get your knife to recharge faster. That does not proc. Yeah, that does not proc on.
Oh, that's what I was thinking of then.
On the poison. It's the last perk, which is while an enemy burns, your dodge recharges faster. So it doesn't register for the throwing knife. It will if you use an incendiary grenade and you kill them while they're on fire from an incendiary grenade or from your throwing knives. Those are the 2 ways to proc the playing with fire. But it
didn't
really
Prometheus used to proc?
I thought it did.
Yeah, I think they nerfed that like a while back. Because I remember there was a crazy build back then that when Shards of Galan, Blade Barrage came out, people were using Prometheus.
Yeah,
it synced really well with that one.
Yeah, I'm pretty sure Thorn does work as well.
But yeah,
the difference is that a shot from Layman Arc does more ticks over time than Thorn does. Yeah. Thorn only does, if I'm not wrong, Beard 4. I don't use it too often. But 4. You get the chunk of your dodge back every like 3 ticks or so, and so you only get 1 chunk, and you need about 3 to get it from 0 to max. So you do have to land a couple shots of Thorn to get enough ticks to fully recharge your dodge, but it takes 3 taps
which is
from a
about
hand cannon anyways.
2 to 3 shots though.
Yeah.
So I mean, it's still which makes sense because like with Luminarch, I mean, it's a bow. It's hard. It's a little more. It's aggressive, right? I believe Luminarch is.
It's technically a lightweight frame archetype because it does make you move quicker.
Okay.
It's a hidden perk that people are aware of.
Yeah.
But it does the damage of a precision frame. You are right on that.
Dude, Luminarch was like, it's probably hands down my favorite bow still.
It does.
Like, that's the bow that I want Master Rule to sell.
That with Dustrock Blues got me to Legend a couple seasons back. So
Yeah, it's really good. It does 125 to the body with poison, and it does 175 to the head. So if you get blessing, whatever it's called, from the Lumen, what's the hand cannon?
Lumina.
I was close. If you have a buff from Lumina, you can one tap to the head. If you have Titan Bubble, can help you one tap to the head. Standing in an Empowering Rift will let you one tap to the head.
And Charge with Light. Charge with Light. That's what I used. But it goes in his bag. Yeah. Charge with Light gives it's nasty. You gotta get 2 orbs, but like once you get it, it one shots.
Yeah.
And it's dirty.
Yeah. Over, I don't know Titan abilities, but the Middle Tree Arc. Somebody
the stupid one.
When you slide over ammo or you use your melee.
You get rampage.
You have to kill and slide over ammo in it.
Yeah, that'll give you a one tap. So there's a bunch of ways where it can. I mean, it's so close. 175 damage is almost a kill, but that's why it also works so well to swap over to something like a hand cannon if they're at range, or if they're in close, SMG, sidearm, whatever. You can just obliterate somebody. So it's really strong. The caveat is being able to proc the poison by getting that perfect shot, and that's why Oathkeepers can be so beneficial on that specific bow. But like I said, it's great if you're using mouse and keyboard specifically on really any bow. But that's the build I've been playing with this week. It's been a ton of fun.
I really just need them to change that quest line, though. That quest, I haven't done it. It's just,
for Luminar? It's like just gotta go in and get it, right? I don't
like quest lines that like you have to wait till the next week, like, to keep doing the frames or whatever at the forges. Like, you can't just sit down and do it. Like, I don't know. I'm not a fan of quest lines that just.
I thought they fixed that. I thought you were able to go in and regrind it now because how not everybody has it still.
No, the quest is you have to do. I don't remember what it's called. The gold frame. So the first time you do a frame in a week, it's got a gold frame around the edge of the
prestigious something frames.
Prestigious frame something. So yeah, you have to do like a hand cannon and a pulse or a bow and whatever. You have to do 2 different ones, and you can only do 2 per week that give you that powerful drop.
Man, that's so dumb. And then you get an RNG, right? And now, is it still tied to a specific forge? You just any forge now?
It's any forge because it cycles through each day.
Because before it was tied to a specific forge. Like you had to do.
It used to just be a random drop. It used to not be a quest.
Yes, that's what I'm saying. But it was tied to that specific forge because back then you could choose which forge to do, and it was like tied to a specific one.
I think it was the
one that with the Vex, because that's where it dropped. That's when it dropped for me.
And there was a rumor the ship dropped there too, but that's not true.
So
I have never gotten the ship, man.
That's because you have to do the Triumph. It's the only way to get it.
Oh, is it? Okay, yeah. Because like Jotun dropped on the one with all the Fallen, and Bergusia is the one with the Vex. All right. Yeah, that's the one that I used to drop.
So with all the Black Armory stuff, well, I guess so that stuff's not going away, right? That content's not going to get vaulted.
I don't think so.
Forge? I doubt it because it's tied to exotics. Like I don't think it should be
Scourge and the Forges, they haven't said, like, because they said the specific planets are going away, but they specifically said that it's the destinations. So as far as we know, things like strikes on the locations that are going away will still be in the playlist of strikes,
and the PvP maps will still be on. Like they're not getting rid of the PvP maps.
Yeah, and so I'm pretty sure. Yeah, I'm pretty sure Forges fall in that category.
Hold on, Beer's trying to talk.
This is embarrassing. So since like Levi is going away, all the raid layers and stuff are going away too. So like Menagerie is going away.
Yeah.
Tribute Hall.
Yep.
Right. So like. So nothing. So because the forges are like in the EDZ or whatever, and that's not going anywhere, those are sticking around.
Yeah, because there's forges
not going to change that quest line.
I don't think there's any forges in any of the places that are going away, anyways. I think it's just EDZ and Nessus, right?
Those are the only two, and those are staying around.
Yeah. So, but it is just on a rotating playlist. So yeah.
So, but Menagerie is for sure leaving, right? They said they're vaulting that.
Yeah, it's part of.
Is that being confirmed? But it's tied to Leviathan, so that's why we're speculating.
So
will we get a type of Menagerie back?
I mean, I hope so.
I mean, I'm sure we'll get some new type of game modes down the road, but they did also say they want to have more focus on the core game modes, which is Strikes, Gambit, and Crucible.
Yeah,
so,
true.
Is sort of a topic that Gambit is. It would be nice to see it get some love and some kind of a change to make it more fun to play. But I don't know what that solution is. Not to bring up that rabbit hole, but
Right.
it would be cool to see some some change of that. Get rid of freaking Reckoning. That needs to get wiped off the face of the map.
See ya.
Does people actually still play that? Because everything on there is getting sunsetted, right? It's 2 as well. I mean,
Yeah.
you might, except for the like Lonesome and like Knowing Hunger, but you can get those at random drops now anyway. You don't even have to go do Reckoning.
Or engrams, you can turn an
Umbral. That's what I'm saying. Like exactly, yeah, your Umbral engrams with the decryptor over a Drifter, exactly.
Right. So, yeah. Well, okay. So let's get into this then, because the TWAB this week. I mean, it was a lot about, other stuff, but Iron Banner specifically is the big one.
Iron Banner's back, baby.
As of to date,
Banana is back.
6-man Rat King, Iron Banner.
Yeah, that's my favorite. Every time it comes back, every time Iron Banner comes,
connection-based matchmaking, just pub stomping with Rat King.
Yeah. Or we need a 6-man Limonarch or 6-man Thorn. Oh, dude.
100%.
So with Iron Banner though this week, I don't know. A couple things surprised me. Obviously they announced that they're bringing back the same 2 weapons that they refurbished from this previous Iron Banner.
Yeah.
Honestly, I'm cool with them refurbishing weapons that were like almost good, just kind of missed the cusp, or weapons that just flat out were good. I'm fine with them rebranding, refurbishing, and bringing them back with new perks. So I was a big fan of Forward Path and more so Fool's Remedy. I was digging that sidearm a lot more than the auto rifle. What did you guys think about? I don't think any of you guys got God rolls. You're both still chasing rolls on that sidearm, right?
I didn't turn in any tokens the last time Iron Banner was up.
You didn't get one?
I got one from completing the quest, and I think I got a second one to drop. The second one was garbage. It had one of the new perks, the one that drops your range in place of... Yeah, is it stability?
Yeah, I'm pretty sure that's Iron Days. Yeah.
I think that's what it was. Well, bottom line is it already doesn't have a lot of range to begin with. It was a sliver. And I was just like, nope, and it got trashed. So that one was a terrible roll. But the other one,
4 legendary shards.
Yeah, and, I got my 4 legendary shards and walked away.
I'm still searching for a Fool's Remedy. Yeah. But I think the best one I got, I think it's like Dynamic Sway and like Hitfire. I think I can't remember. I gotta go back on the Fool's Remedy. I believe so.
It rolls with. It doesn't roll with Dynamic Sway.
No, not done. I can't remember. I'm trying to remember what it was. I'm searching for Moving Target and Quick Draw. That's what I'm chasing for.
That's what I
want. But I do have Quick Draw Hitfire, which is still pretty fire. It's not that bad. But there's another one. I think it's Hitfire and that new perk on it for the sidearm that actually like low key became pretty decent.
The range one I was talking about, it lowers your range and gives you target acquisition. That's why it was garbage, because I had no range and target acquisition isn't on the board.
But your shots hit from miles away.
I mean,
like that, because it's the registration. Like it ups your registration a little bit, but like
but
you do so little damage.
I had no range buff perks at all, and I had that dropped the range, so it was literally this big on the screen, and I was just like, that's going to be garbage. That's not even worth trying.
So get this, our boy here, Gamer. Now, for those of you listening in at home, please don't unsub. Please don't stop listening to us. But you said you got a Hipfire Grip Moving Target or something like that, and you were like, this is trash. I'm deleting this. Like, this is the worst ever. And I was like, how dare you? That's literally the role that, like, as far as mouse and keyboard goes, that's one of the ones I'm most interested in trying. And you were like, I'm going to get my 4 legendary shards and log out.
No, well, I saved it because it's like, it was still, I mean, I knew it like being hit ever since like when they buffed Hipfire Grip. Like it's been, obviously I use Last Word a lot. I've used it before too, and it was probably one of my favorite hand cannons, but now with that buff with Hipfire Grip is like really, really amazing. So for sure, that's why I kept it. Because I mean, it's still decent. So, but yes, I ended up liking it. But I'm still looking for that Quick Draw Moving Target with high caliber rounds.
Quick Draw Moving Target's the roll. I want Flirt Magwell, though. I like to have snappy reload on my sidearms.
Yeah.
That one rolls with rangefinder. I have a rangefinder subsistence, which I don't care for a subsistence, but the rangefinder does make it like I think it will definitely replace my anonymous autumn with full auto on it moving forward.
Rangefinder's great on a sidearm.
Good. I love it. But anyway, so they're bringing back these two guns. So if you don't have one, great. You got another chance to get one. I have a chance to get one that's slightly better than the one that I have that I like. But the thing is now is in my kind of concern. So the season that and I don't remember how long ago it was, but they rolled out. It was the Forward Path, Fool's Remedy. There was some Spire something was like the Pulse Rifle, and then Wise and Rebuke. I'm sure there was some other one, some stupid rocket launcher that I don't care about. But there was this one season where all those weapons came out. I'm actually kind of surprised that this week they brought back those two this last week. I mean, is it too much to expect for them to have wanted them to bring back some of those other ones with the new perks, whether they were the new Iron Banner perks or the seasonal ones, or not the seasonal ones, I guess just the new ones? Am I asking for too much here? Is it kind of a miss? Like, what do you guys think?
No, you're asking too much, because like I mean straight up, like they like every season, like, well, first of all, to answer your question is how important is Iron Banner? Like how important is Iron
Banner? I think it isn't a slightly better opportunity to get stuff that I'm looking for than just regular.
I will say it's a lot more fun than it has been in the past since skill-based matchmaking has gone away. And coupled with 100%. That, they took away the artifact light difference. Because, dude, I don't know about you guys. I play Crucible now, and every single match I'm up against somebody above 1080 or whatever the heck it is. What are we at now? And I'm like...
very pale people who haven't seen the sunlight.
I'm like 1065-ish. Like... I'm probably a bit higher than that if I put all my max stuff on, like maybe close to 1070. But dude, it's like everyone in Crucible seems to be above 1080, and I'm like, man, if this stupid thing was active, I would just get swept, and Iron Banner would be the same stupid playlist I've hated for a long time, because it really sucks when you hit somebody with a super and they don't die, or you snipe them or body shot them and melee them and they have a sliver and they punch you back in one shot and walk away, and you're just like, that's fair. So I will say it is a lot more enjoyable. I do love the way control functions in Iron Banner versus just normal control. The being able to cap 3 bases and it locks down for 15 seconds, whatever it is. It's amazing, because you play regular control, your teammates run off and cap the 3rd base and the other team grabs the other 2 and you're like, what the heck were you guys? Like, you guys are morons. We had 2 out of the 3. Like, just hold them. So
spawns, now we're going to lose another base.
Yeah, it gives you like it's almost like a comeback mechanic, because the strat for control is hold 2 bases, so you get 2 points to their 1 on every kill. But if you're behind, you can go for that 3rd cap and get 3 points to their 1 for a brief period of time and quickly close the gap. So it just kind of introduces some additional strategy into the game mode. So I definitely love it. And again, with it being connection based now, and the whole light level playing a factor but being more limited, and it has nothing to do with the artifact, I really enjoyed it last time I was around. I'm excited to play a lot of it this week.
Yeah, I mean, like, hands down for sure. But like, to go kind of like where Beard was going with the weapons, like, I feel we are asking a bit too much if we want things to come back. Like, I expected a lot better, like a bigger loot pool of weapons since the season's going to be, obviously this is the last season until like Beyond Light. I just felt like they were like, oh shoot, Beyond Light's coming out, we don't have enough weapons, so let's just grab these Iron Banners and like rework them so people can have something to look forward to use into like stepping into Beyond Light. That's the way I felt out of it coming into last time when Iron Banner came back. But they pretty much already tie it that way anyway. So when the first Iron Banner of the season comes out, there's that quest line you do, and it's tied down to your character. Once you finish that quest line once per season, then you're pretty much free to roam. So if you didn't finish that quest line last Iron Banner that came out this season, then you got to finish it. And then once you finish it, it's already unlocked for the rest of the season. So that's why I wasn't really expecting for more weapons, because they've already showed us that throughout this whole expansion, that's the way they're going for.
But the thing is we're going to have, and with the new expansion being pushed back, they've already announced that there's going to be another Iron Banner. sometime in between when the expansion should have launched to when it will launch. So there'll be 3 total Iron Banners to just get the same 2 guns. Like a lot of even people that don't play very religiously just jump in the 1 week, they'll at least get a gun, right? What they get at least the 1 sidearm, at least the 1 auto rifle. Call it good. I just don't know how difficult would it have been to say we're going to release the Wise and Rebuke with the new perks, like the Killing Wind perk and then the new Iron Banner perks, like throw those in there. Even though, because it sounds like the game plan was just to have the 2 Iron Banners. They're adding in the 3rd one now. I mean, I don't know why it would have been.
I think there was going to be 3 Iron Banners because we're looking.
I think there's usually 3 per season.
Yeah, there's 3 per season.
Okay, so it's going to be 4 then.
Yeah,
it's going to be 4.
Going back to what Gamer was saying though, they've never rolled out anything new beyond the first Iron Banner within a season. So it's always, this is the set of armor for this season, and these are whatever weapons they're bringing back or introducing or whatever it is, and that's never changed on a second, third, or however many Iron Banners later on in the season. So I personally wasn't expecting
2 guns, because like that season when all of those guns came out, and like in past seasons when it's like I feel like we get like a new hand cannon, we get a new pulse rifle, we get a new something, like they drop a couple of weapons. And this season it was just the 2 refurbished ones. I'm fine with the idea of refurbishing weapons, but it's just the 2 of them to chase for the next 4 Iron Banners, basically. I don't know. It just seems like this season being a longer one, it seems like they're just going to be more of a drought once we get into Iron Banner in September.
Well, I mean, we're already feeling like it's getting in a drought, so it's like
even more.
I mean, it's already feeling like that already. So I mean, what do we expect from now until Beyond Light coming out? Any new content?
So
I mean, we know we got Traveler's Chosen coming out. We got some new things heading our way, which I feel like Iron Banner putting new weapons or new the Wizard Rebuke you want with newer weapons. I think that's just too much for that when we have other content coming out, getting closer to Beyond Light.
So
like Iron Banner is just a way to here's just another playlist. Let's just go do this. You know what I mean?
Yeah, like Beard, I agree. I would have loved to have more weapons. There's a handful of weapons from year 1 that have never been introduced into kind of the new system with random rolls and things. There's a sidearm from year 1 that I don't know the name of it. It has a silencer on its 300 RPM. Kinetic sidearm from Iron Banner. I would have loved to have that come back. I kind of cut them some slack as far as them not introducing more stuff, either last Iron Banner or this one or whatever, for a couple reasons. One, again, it's not something they've done in the past, so I wasn't necessarily expecting it. But 2, it is, I think we know from devs speaking out that it is a quite a bit of work, whether they're constructing a brand new weapon from scratch. I mean, that has to do more of the cosmetic side of somebody actually developing the look of the gun. The actual programming for the gun itself and the perks is a bit lengthy of a process. And we already know that they're super tied up and backed up in what they're supposed to be getting done time frame wise, because they pushed back the next expansion a month and a half. So we already know they're struggling to hit the deadline of Beyond Light. Expecting them to have rolled out additional things for us this season, I think, is just a bit outside of the realm of possibility. And I think I don't know if they've come out and blatantly said this, but I think we are all expecting a very large addition to the loot pool when it comes to weapons specifically, but armor as well.
There has to be
Beyond Light. And so them refurbishing 2 additional weapons for Iron Banner versus developing 2, 3, however many more for Beyond Light, I'd rather them dedicate the time to make sure Beyond Light comes out good, because whatever they refurbish, I'm probably going to drop one new. If there is this large influx of a loot pool in Beyond Light, I'm going to be looking into what's all the new stuff and what things do I want to chase after anyways. So that was kind of my take on it. I just, knowing that they're backed up, knowing that people are working from home, knowing that they're not hitting their deadlines as is, I think dedicating some of their resources to bringing back some old weapons for Iron Banner, which again kind of is dealing with a bit of an identity crisis as far as what's the point.
Well, that's a whole topic in and of itself too. Like we've talked about, like what role does Iron Banner fill now in all of the you log into the game, you open up the director, click on Crucible, you have this whole map in front of you, all these different game modes that you can play. They toss Iron Banner in there, other than it just being front and center, like the big one to click on. Like it's kind of just like, like what is this game mode? You know, like what is its identity? I feel like it's kind of struggled the past couple times to just, I don't know, what is it? What role is it serving for the overall game?
Destiny's kind of had that as an issue kind of across the board, and we can kind of go into a bit more detail on that. But Iron Banner specifically, just history-wise, I mean, the lore is that it's supposed to be this tournament-style game mode, and that's how it was introduced into the game back in Destiny 1. It was high stakes. You can unlock cool, specific loot tailored to this Iron Banner, these Iron Lords who were like these top-tier guardians and stuff in the past, and this is the section of the Crucible that's specific for you to go in. It's supposed to be hard because light level matters and all this stuff, and like that's how it was introduced. People were kind of complained about it because the gap in power level, we'll call it, between somebody who was even 10 levels higher than you when it was first introduced was very massive, and so they literally did feel like raid bosses running around curb stomping on people, and so that got kind of turned back at one point, and it was simplified to where it wasn't as big of a jump in how much damage you did and how much damage reduction they had type thing. At one point it turned into, they added like the pinnacle drops and how light level gained, because that changed a bunch of times through Destiny's history. At one point it made a huge massive jump in just the number system on its own, and so at one point they introduced this, you can get these big jumps when Iron Banner comes around, essentially what pinnacle drops are now. They weren't called that back then, but you'd get a big light level jump by getting armor out of Iron Banner when it came around. So it kind of even at that point became like just a way for people to hit max light. And going into Destiny 2, we've now, removed almost completely the light level difference, because without the artifact in there, the most somebody can be is 1060. And, even if you just play casually with how many pinnacle drops you're getting now just doing Crucible and strikes and things, you should be around 1065, which is right about where I am, and I play 2-3 nights a week. So at most, somebody's 5 levels above you. It's not necessarily a game breaker, and skill-based matchmaking has been taken out of it. So it's no longer that hardcore playlist by any stretch of the imagination, and it's not really even a, hey, I can go get a bunch of pinnacles. You still can, but there's a ton of other ways to get pinnacles. So yeah, as far as the purpose it serves, it's kind of more just, it's a rotating playlist that comes around every so often, it seems like, and a way for you to get a bunch of tokens and get some armor and things unique to the playlist. But
you see, like, I feel like with Iron Banner, there's so much they could have done with it and make it a better, enjoyable playlist, because it's 6v6. You got that tournament style feel. It locks your control zone and stuff, which I like. I don't know why they don't add that to regular control.
You need to
keep it different.
Yeah, true, maybe to keep it different, but I feel like, for like, hands down, like, why isn't there not a seal tied to Iron Banner yet? I don't know. Like, how many Iron Banners come in a season where they could easily make a seal for, how cool would it be to have like Iron Lord on one of your seals?
Well,
like,
what's funny is,
for me, that's a big miss.
I mean, there's triumphs tied to Iron Banner, so it's already in the game. There's just not, if you do these 20, you get a seal.
Exactly. So you have triumphs, so why couldn't you get a title for it? You know what I mean? You have, like, for example, Phil Winters came out. Why wasn't that a tied strictly into Iron Banner? Why was it like after Iron Banner came out, you got this quest line, then go do Crucible? It's Phil Winters, like one of the Iron Lords, right? Like, am I correct? I'm sorry, I'm not a huge lore guy, but it was like, we went into the mountain where they all died. Right, exactly. So why are these things where Iron Banner should have been, like, hands down been treated better, and it's not? That's just where I feel like they've missed the ball. Like, I feel like Iron Banner should be its separate playlist, like a time. Obviously it's still Crucible, like, you want to keep it in there, like, it's like it should be a fun tournament you can go out with your friends. And because I think this last week, Twab, what they said, oh, don't go in solo, go with your friends, go play with your buddies, because if you're a lone wolf, can't travel by itself. They said all these cool things about Iron Banner, and it's true. I went in right now and did solo, and I got freaking mercied, like, right away. But, like, also I went in solo and finished like 3 of the 4 bounties, like, in 2 hours. Like, yeah, and then you can't refresh your bounties. You can't get more bounties out of it. You know what I'm saying?
I will say this. I think a lot of the identity crisis Iron Banner is suffering from isn't because of Iron Banner. It's everything else that's happened in the game. Like, removing SBMM, I think, was a major plus, but that does kind of change a little bit, like, the makeup, like what Iron Banner is supposed to be, where it's harder. with cheaters and things like that. That's also kind of played into, or them removing the artifact right for the light level, because that was like, I don't remember why they took that out. It was like
They started with trials.
With trials,
Yeah,
yeah.
because a couple seasons ago, people were bounty farming and they just got sky
That's right.
high
That's right.
light level. And so, again, the same thing I mentioned, I keep running into people that are 15, 20 levels higher than me in just basic Crucible. And I'm kind of just like, what are you doing to get your light level that high? Like, that doesn't sound like you play this game for fun. That sounds boring.
Honestly, FYI, I just need 2 more drops and I'm like max power.
Yeah.
So you're one of them.
But, I mean, he streams, so, like, I mean, that's understandable. I can't believe
That's
that
the thing, though,
half the people I see in Crucible stream, you know?
Because Season of Worthy there's been other issues that past seasons have brought up with the game that's kind of, Iron Banner has kind of been like, it's been kind of put in the corner for a little bit. It's been in timeout just because of like all these other things that have happened with the game. But I do think that in a lot of ways it has kind of like, it's kind of lost its, I don't know, a little bit of its magic, a little bit of its, mysticism in the way with like the lore behind the Iron Lords. And like, I know not everybody loved the last year of D1, but at least like the story that it told with like, we're going to learn who the Iron Lords were. The meta was, my opinion, the worst meta Destiny has ever seen. I hated it. PvP was disgusting.
It's still there if you want to go play it and projectile vomit on your screen.
Literally do not. Maybe to just go play No Land Beyond one more time. Other than that, I don't want to.
It's bad.
But it's kind of just like, I don't know. There's so many game modes right now in Destiny, especially if it's a Trials and an Iron Banner weekend, like this weekend coming up. So there's just so much to do. I mean, the thing that I jump into Iron Banner for, I like the game mode. I think that style of control is fun. There's also there's really good high stat rolls to get, and now that I don't have to use like some of the ugly pieces, like you can put ornaments on it and make it look super cute. I like going in there for the higher stat rolled stuff. I think that's my thing, is it's a specific way to get better loot, which is one of the things that we talk about ad nauseum. Like, we want more ways to get specific loot. Mm-hmm. Iron Banner does serve that function for me. It just has kind of lost its end. It was supposed to be the end game PvP activity, right? It has kind of lost a little bit of that because of the other things that have happened.
Maybe high end for like a casual point of view. You know what I'm saying? Like it like should have separated. No, I think it should have separated from a regular quick play, a regular control, and then make it something more tournament based where it's fun. Like, for example, like Spell Racing. Like, it's something fun. Like, why don't they bring that back every
more of a joke week? Though, how are you going to compare that?
No. But that's all I'm saying. It's just something that's different, that you can go out and win, and you get first place, and you do this. Like,
that's what Banner's turned into. It's something different to do when it comes around. Is really all it is.
Exactly. Right now. And for me to enjoy it, I almost feel like I have to play all 3 characters. You know what I mean? Because if I play with one character, well, obviously for me, because I play every day, I stream it 5 days a week. Like, I have to like play in different characters for me to enjoy Iron Banner. Like, if I'm just tied to one character and just play 5 days a week with that same character, it becomes a pain.
So let me throw out 2 ideas to you guys, and just out of curiosity, because as we're talking, this kind of just came to mind. Because I think we all enjoy Iron Banner. As like we're saying, it's just something different to do when it rolls around, and so we hop in with our friends and we play it, and it's a chance to get loot. But it's kind of in that middle ground of, it's not a hardcore playlist, and it's not necessarily a way to grind for loot, because you're still just turning in tokens and getting a random engram. It's weapons or it's armor. You can't decide which one, and you hope it drops what you want. You're trying to get a full set of armor and you're missing the boots. 7 drops later and you still don't get a pair of boots. Yeah, like it's
on the Raven like 10 times in a row.
It's RNG to the 10th degree. As great as things you can get in that loot pool, it's not necessarily a loot grind. So let me ask you these: of these 2 options, if they were to make a change to Iron Banner, which one you would prefer? If they went the full, it's a loot chase activity route, and they had something similar to kind of the Umbral engrams now, where you get tokens and you turn them in, and then you could pick either weapon or armor to kind of reduce some of the RNG to it. That way, if you wanted to just chase an armor stats, you can just get armor, and you can grind out the playlist, or if you're trying to get your Fool's Remedy, you can just keep picking, the weapon. So go full into this is strictly for you guys to be able to chase some loot for, it's 1 week, couple times a season, grind out the loot you want from there, or go to the other extreme, the way that it kind of started out as a hardcore playlist, to make it you have to go in with a full stack 6-team PvP control activity, and then not necessarily trials where you go to the lighthouse or something after certain wins in a row, but as you gain wins, maybe similar to the competitive playlist, you earn points or something towards some pinnacle type weapon or something. Like, would you guys like that to be? Would you like it to be a more hardcore playlist of you have to go in with a match made team and it is super competitive and light level matters, or do we keep it on that chasing loot side? Which would you prefer out of the two options?
So let me jump in here real quick.
Okay.
Hold your thought. Pause your brain so you don't forget it. If I remember D1 Iron Banner correctly, I might not. I've played way more D2 than I ever did D1. The way that I remember it, though, is whether it was Saladin or that other chick, I forgot her name.
Efforty.
There was a setup to where it was either you completed certain bounties or you earned a certain amount of points or whatever it was, and then she was just like any other vendor where she had a loot pool of her own, and she had specific weapons, and whether it was like the Veneral's Peril or whatever it was, the hand cannon, she would sell one that had like basically a god roll, and you would play it, get your however many it was, and it was like always like the last rank or whatever had like the gun you wanted. I don't know why like we can't, because that's D1 did do a lot of things that I liked, and I think I would like to see either something like that, or like you're saying, like we get to pick like a weapon or a armor piece engram. I think I would like to see a little bit more of, you just have to get X amount of wins, doesn't have to be in a row, however many it is, and then you get to buy this gun that nobody else has access to until they've gotten the wins, or whatever it is. A little bit more of a specific, I don't know, something like that.
Yeah, so
like I could be wrong about the way I'm remembering it.
Yeah, so for any listeners who didn't play Destiny 1, the way that worked, there was a vendor similar to Saladin in the tower, and they had, if I'm not mistaken, weekly and daily bounties. And so every day you could pick up new bounties. And rather than a token system, it was experience-based. So essentially it's as if the tokens just turned in automatically, and so you would rank up. Well, instead of just giving you an engram when you rank up, it would give you a rank. And once you got to tier 2, you could buy the first of 5, however many, 6 rewards that they had. Usually it was the full set of armor, and then there was some weapon at the very end. So what Beard's saying is go to some kind of system where you work towards getting a specific reward, whether it be from the vendor directly or through some kind of a quest line, which is kind of what they've done in the past. But I mean, would that make Iron Banner more enjoyable for you? Would you feel like you were excited when it comes around, or what changes would Iron Banner need to not have an identity crisis and be something you looked forward to, I guess is what we're looking at the end of the day.
Yeah, you see, I like Iron Banner when every time it comes around, like I feel like Bungie doesn't even know what to do with Iron Banner. I just feel like it's already been in the system, so it's like, okay, might as well just do Iron Banner. Because I feel like there's been times when we've had something like that. A few seasons back, or I believe right before Forsaken, you were tied into those bounties, the bounties that you got. So every time you finished the bounty, you would get the helmet, you'd get the legs, you'd get the chest, you get the arms, and you get the cloak. Like it was already doing it that way, because so you're already guaranteed getting the whole set. They did it that way. And then they're like, no, we don't like it this way. We just give us RNG. So now you turn into bounties, and now you get a chance of getting weapons and armor, whatever you want. I feel like the best solution, I feel like everybody's loving the decryptor, right? I mean, we've gotten like great rolls from this, from that. Since Iron Banner is a temporary playlist that comes and goes, like I would love something like that, because it's not going to break the game, because it's not something that you're going in constantly and grinding in tokens and getting tokens.
Yeah, 1 week.
Exactly. So there's that 1 week, you get as much tokens as you can, and then go in and kind of like the decryptor, how we have it, okay, you can pick between the Fool's Remedy or the False Promises. You can it will drop one of those two, because obviously those are the popular guns you want. Then you can get a better chance on getting your god roll,
Mm-hmm.
But you still got to put in the work, you know what I mean? Like you're still getting the tokens, you're still getting the stuff. And then like maybe instead of buying, like using tokens, you use that to get engrams, something like that, you know what I mean? But I feel like that style, kind of like what we're using this season, would have been kind of cool. But like, as I said, I feel Iron Banner is just getting pushed down on us now. I don't really feel like it's something that's worth it. You know what I'm saying? Does that make sense? You know, they'll throw in 2 or 3 weapons. Oh, look at this, the point of stag, and then remember how easy that was to get. You know, they've thrown that at us, and that was the only pinnacle we were able to get this expansion. Right? They got rid of ritual weapons and pinnacle weapons. That was the only one we got this whole expansion, and it was the easiest thing to get. Right? So you know,
that's side note for everybody who hates on bows.
so you know what I mean. So I feel they're not even sure what to do with Iron Banner, you know, and they need to spice it up for sure. Obviously it comes around, we text each other, and we're like, oh, Iron Banner's back, let's go do this, it'll be fun, because like it is fun running out there with your buddies, and especially 6 of you guys just dicking around like that. I love that. I love when Destiny does that, like when they make you go out and play with your friends, and kind of what you were saying for Guardian, you're like, should we make it a high end where like it's supposed to be 6v6? I felt like that's kind of like what they said in the TWAB. They were like, brave your friends, don't go in solo, do this with them, because if you go solo, you're gonna get destroyed. And because they're not forcing us, they're just telling us, go with your buddies, do this 6v6, because it's going to be worth it, and then just going in solo. So it pretty much telling you, if you go in solo and you're a casual player and you're going in solo, you're gonna get your dick cut off, you know. So it's like, go in with a full stack team. That's what they're telling us, because they want it. I think Bungie wants us to feel like it is a hardcore tournament, and that we should treat it like a hardcore tournament.
So I think, to summarize at least my thoughts, to take what Gamer's saying to answer Former's question, I would be happier and more excited a little bit with Iron Banner if it did have like a prismatic recaster setup. I'd be more excited. I think I'd be most excited if there was a shiny object, though, because with the prismatic recaster, it's like the shiny object's whatever gun you're after. I think it would go from, okay, cool, Iron Banner, to like, I love Iron Banner, if there was a weapon that came out to where the vendor's going to give you a god roll, but then once you get it, there's all these other really great perks that you can pick from if you have a certain build in mind, and you have to do it for the week to unlock the gun, and then once you unlock it, then you can go back and like keep unlocking that gun or do some type of engram to get just weapons. So I think a combination of both would make me the happiest, because everybody wants a shiny object to chase, and I think that would be enough spice in Iron Banner that it kind of just doesn't have. Like, we can get the guns, but we've already unlocked them, so it's just an RNG drop now. So it's not like a chase. It's just kind of like, let's go play and hope we get one.
Yeah, I don't know if this would be too much to ask for, but there's something to be said. As great as the prismatic recaster system is as far as getting what you want, there's something to be said about the fact that the item you end up getting from there isn't as significant to you as other ones you worked harder for, if that makes sense. Like, I've gotten a ton of stuff from prismatic recaster, but I sat there at the slot machine and, oh, that's not the roll I want. Oh, that's not the roll I want. And you just do that until you get, and you're like, yes, I got it, cool, we're done, and move on. There's something to be said about working towards getting something that's difficult. Like, Gamer, I know you love your mountaintop, and I hate on it all the time because it pisses me off. But like, you also love it because you did the quest back when it was more difficult, and so there's a sense of pride tied to that. I think that you worked really hard to get that weapon, if I'm not mistaken, and that Destiny has that feeling at certain times. And so, for me personally, I would like to see some kind of rearrangement. Personally, I'd like to see tokens taken out of the entire game. But if you're not going to take them out, at least give me the option when I go to turn them in on picking either a weapon or a piece of armor, so I at least get that distinction. That would be fine with me, because there'd still be the RNG in there. Ideally, I'd rather just stuff drop from matches. Like in Destiny 1, it just every match you got to drop. And so it just felt like, you know, when it drops, it's that excitement and moment, whatever. But I would like to see some kind of a progression towards either a ritual, a pinnacle, and an Iron Banner exotic. How cool would that be to have? I don't know if this is asking for too much, but something.
It's not. I think at that point it's not. That's exactly what we need.
Yeah.
Mm-hmm.
But maybe not even a pinnacle, because I think they've made it clear that like pinnacle weapons are not coming back. But just here's the god roll of the weapon that's out this week. I mean, or this season or whatever.
So, Beard, we talked about this when Point of the Stag came out. It rolled with Vorpal. We were pretty excited about it, but we're like,
the bow sucked.
Why didn't it's okay? The accuracy is lower than it should be, but we're like, why didn't they put Swashbuckler on it?
Yeah.
Like, how cool would that have been as a ritual weapon for a perk that doesn't normally roll on that type of a bow? You can get it on a lightweight frame bow, but it will not one-shot a Guardian to the face, even at a ×5 stack of Swashbuckler. But on a precision frame, it would. And you can already do it with Rampage. If you get to a 3-stack of Rampage, you can one-tap to the head. But it's so hard to do that. Swashbuckler would have made that bow so unique that you could have ran some kind of a melee style build and been super lethal with it for the few seconds, 2-3 seconds, however long it lasts. Like, that would have been so cool. So having something like that, and then putting it in a position where it's not go play 3 games and here it is, so make it a triumph.
Had they set point of the stag as like, here's our curated, this is what we think is a god roll or a unique roll or whatever. But then the second you unlock it, now you unlock the perk pool and you can get the weapon again with just this list of other perks. Like, I would be using Point of the Stag to this day, I think, if that were the case. If I could have chased a roll
and if that unique one was a set of perks that doesn't normally roll on it. So, for example, the Twilight Oath Sniper had the curated roll drop that came from the dungeon, and it had Snapshot on it, which was a perk that couldn't normally roll on that sniper. So it made that one curated roll very special and unique, and people sought after it. They really wanted it. If they had something like that, it doesn't have to be some crazy out of the box, unbelievably insanely good, but if it makes that one version of that weapon unique and there's a progression towards getting it, however many total kills in Iron Banner over one season, make it a triumph, and when you complete the triumph, you can go collect it from Saladin. Like, it gives you something to look for in the long term playing the playlist, but during the time, it's not as rigorous of get a bunch of tokens, turn them in, and pray that RNG smiles on you. You can there's some kind of structure. There doesn't have to be this weapon or this weapon as detailed as the Recaster is, where you just get exactly what you want almost. But let me pick between weapons or armor. Let me pick maybe a stat on, I don't know, some kind of a detailed thing where it's not just turning in a bunch of tokens and hope that I get something great.
Right.
Yeah, right. A little bit more focused. It doesn't need to be a menagerie, get exactly what I want, but point us in the right direction, because when you're trying to get a single weapon and you get nothing but armor drops, you're just pissed, or vice versa. You're like, man, I really just, even for transmog, right? I want the cloak because it's the only piece I'm missing, or the helmet on the Titan, or whatever. And it just doesn't drop for you, and you keep getting weapons and things you don't want. It's just, it's painful when you've spent so much time getting those tokens and they don't go towards what you actually care about getting,
Hold on, real quick.
Yeah.
I've gotten every ritual and pinnacle weapon in PvP, and the one you had to name was Mountaintop. Like, come on, man. I've not forgotten that big. Took me like blood, sweat, and tears to get that.
I bring up Mountaintop because I know it is a very rigorous and painful quest, to the point where I haven't done it, even though I know it's really good as a PvE weapon. And I know a lot of other people haven't as well, because it's a lot of like fighting lion kills in Crucible.
Or we just have a soul.
Yeah.
No, but yeah, hands down, I agree everything you said there, former Guardian. Like, there's need to be something tied into it, especially because Iron Banner comes and goes.
Yeah.
So they could easily tie something, and then there's 3 Iron Banners a season, so that gives you, so nothing will be broken. You know what I mean? Everything's tied into that specific week, and then you put like an exotic. You put it. That's what I was saying. Like, last season we had Phil Winters came out, and it was a Iron Banner, Iron Lord shotgun that had nothing to do with Iron Banner. Like, you didn't even get it in Iron Banner, which was, for me, was a hit and miss. And like I said, for me, I think the biggest miss that Bungie has done is not giving Iron Banner a seal. Like I said, a cool Iron Lord seal, like that would be so badass, like rocking that. Because like, think about it, in PvP, you have no what are those called? Those titles, right? You can't. There's only 2 you can rock.
Broken.
There's Unbroken that takes forever to get.
Unbroken,
you got to get Legend 3 seasons, and that's not the easiest thing to do. And then you got Flawless, and then they drop the ball on that one because it resets every season. You have to like re-get like Flawless title.
Well,
so
they dropped the ball on there being cheaters.
For Iron Banner. What was that?
They dropped the ball on there being cheaters.
Right? Yeah.
Very
You're
few
like,
people
That was the
have
big ball.
flawless, and it's because it's just not a fun playlist to go into. And I get it's supposed to be an end game, but it's not that it's not fun because it's hard. It's not fun
Mhm.
because there's cheaters. Like
Exactly.
I have a
So
clip from the other day I was playing that I got killed by this guy a couple times, and I'm like, dude, this guy is like, I don't like to just outright accuse people, but I am on PC. That's the only console I really play on. And this guy killed me a few times, and I'm like, what the heck? Well, I look up in the corner and see his name, and as his emblem's going away, I see 99% is whatever he's tracking, and I was like, wait, what was that? I go and look at him, and it's 99% win rate. I'm like, he's bragging about it. He's straight advertising. I win 99% of my games, and like nothing's gonna happen to me. Look, I'm aimbotting. Do something about it. I'm like, that's when you know
Yeah.
there's a problem. When people are cocky about being cheating, that's yeah. And
See,
we
this kind of gets into a point too that I did kind of want to bring up in the sense that the we mentioned it very briefly at the beginning of the show that there was a tiny exploit, wasn't game breaking, immediately got patched, so you can't go keep grinding exotics in Levi if you didn't know, and that immediately had a fix to it. And Bungie's fixes are sometimes disabling the activity briefly or adjusting something here and there, closing something on like the coding side of things. I honestly feel like with the amount like the cheating issue went on for so long,
It's
and
still
now
going.
with skill-based
hasn't
matchmaking
stopped.
being removed, cheaters have like moved into sixes. I feel like honestly, as dramatic as this might sound, had they just disabled trials for the time being until they could figure out the cheaters before it got to the level that it was at, I really feel like cheaters probably would have gone away because there wasn't a reason to cheat in normal sixes. But now that cheating has gone for so long and
There wasn't a reason
everybody's
to cheat
doing it,
before trials.
that's what I mean. So having
Yeah.
maybe if they would have shut it down, we wouldn't be dealing
Well,
with
since
as
they
many
moved to Steam
cheaters.
pretty much, right? Because when it was in Battle.net, it wasn't that bad.
There really wasn't cheaters until they announced trials, and then you saw people just prior to trials coming out because people were testing their cheats and their
Yeah.
hacks, and so that's when you start seeing. I mean, look up YouTubers. They have videos of people just auto firing Wardcliff coil without any end to the magazine. You know, like all this crap came to the surface all of a sudden, and Bungie was able to deal with some of that out of line stuff, but since then, that's when aimbotters have just gone through the roof, and you can look up people's stats while you're playing them, and you're like, oh, this guy hits 98% of his headshots.
So,
Okay.
I mean, we know, like, we get triggered when cheaters and things like that happen. So, I mean, I think we've talked about a lot on the show. Like, I feel like it's a subject that always pops up in here without meaning to. It just ends up being
We're all
a
PvP
big
players.
topic.
It's bound to
Exactly,
happen.
and then
We
that's
see it all
the
the
big
time.
reason why. Like, we're more PvP than PvE. Anyway, so but aside from that, because like I can't, we talk about all the time, but kind of what Beard was saying about, every time something happens, something's bugged, like Bungie goes in and fix that right away, and there's other issues that needs to be addressed, but
Yeah.
they just go in and stop it because I feel like we're stepping into a point. I know we're a little over, so just let me take like the next 5 minutes and just kind of explain this. Where I feel like I've asked this question the last couple of times here. Like, what does Bungie cater towards? Are they catering towards their casual players, or are they catering towards their like high end top tier? And let me explain that again, because we've gotten now another bug that's fixed that isn't game breaking. It's not game breaking. There's nothing game breaking about like running that Levi dog encounter over and over again and getting year one exotic. I don't think that's busted. I think that's fine because you can't get TTS out of it. You can't get other hardcore newer exotics off of it. So as a casual player, like, where do they stand? Because now they can't. A casual. I'm just looking at this. Like, a casual player wants to play trials. He can't play trials. He can't masterwork his gear because the only way to get ascended shards is either doing nightfalls, really really tough nightfalls, or doing trials. And then you do grandmasters nightfalls. So, there's only two ways to get guaranteed. There's only two ways to get guaranteed ascended shards. It's flawless and grandmaster nightfalls, guaranteed. Not chances, just guaranteed. So then, like, a couple of weeks back, We had that Lake of Shadows that glitched, right? The whatever Nightfall that was, where you could go in and master, and all the enemies were bugged, and you can go in and right away, like that Nightfall was out for like 4 or 5 hours, and they right away were like, nope, we got rid of it. We put this other one, like, here, do this one instead because of this. I feel like that hurts the player base in a way because one, it's not game breaking. Like, you still got to go and do the activity, and it's still hard. Like, we went in, right? We finished the podcast and went and did it, and it was still tough. Like, it wasn't.
It's a long strike,
and it was a long strike. Yeah, I mean, like, we got a guaranteed prisons. We got like 4 or 5 of them, like every drop. So like, you're still getting, like, you still got to do the content. You know what I mean? So for me, like, just the question I'm asking you guys. Where are we getting catered towards? Like, where is Bungie catering towards? Because it's really hard looking at a casual player and like saying, oh, like, how do you masterwork your gear? Oh, you need ascendant shards. You need this. You need that. You know what I mean? Like, how in the hell can they even get that when everything is tied to like really, really high end activities?
I think there's some mixed signals as far as what type of player they're making the game for, catering to, because I think in general in-game loot and the way to get loot has very much been dumbed down to a more casual player style. The Umbral Engrams is a perfect example. When it first launched, we're all like, this is great, this is the coolest system ever. 2 weeks later, we have everything we want, almost, because they drop so often and you pick exactly what you want. They opened it up to where world drops come from any token source, so anyone who's saved up a ton of Crucible tokens, Vanguard tokens, whoever can just go start cashing them in and get their Dire Promise they want. You know, like the in-game activities, I feel like, are very much geared now towards just throwing loot at you to the point where it's almost nauseating to manage your inventory. But it's 100% true that when you talk about masterworking gear, it's very hard to go get the materials to be able to have more than a single set, especially when you're talking about masterworking exotics. I've yet to masterwork a single exotic. I have 3 different sets of armor masterworked for my hunter, 1 full set on my warlock, and I haven't masterworked any exotics because I wouldn't have been able to get full sets like that put together without, it costs 3 ascendant shards per single piece
which
of armor.
I didn't realize until after I masterworked an exotic.
Yeah, and like 3 ascendant shards.
And then I think you mentioned it, and I was like, what?
And the worst part is, you dismantle a masterwork gear, you don't get a shard. You don't get a shard back.
Yeah,
your shard's gone, dog. You don't get one back.
Should it be like glass needles back in D1?
No.
Well, because with glass needles, you could dismantle and get the glass needles back.
I guess all I'm saying, I'm not saying make ascendant shards super easy to get. All I'm saying, like, we have Iron Banner. Why can't I get an ascendant shard by doing Iron Banner?
I think there definitely needs to be new routes for getting materials for masterworking, 100%. But
honestly, that should be I know that was something we had planned out for tonight. That should be a topic we bring up next week.
Iron Banner comes every other week, like tied to a quest line. Okay, like you finish this quest, here you go. You get 1 ascendant shard. That's not game breaking.
Yeah, masterworking armor and the fact that armor is getting sunsetted is an entire topic on its own. But but just going along with your question, I think it definitely plays a role in that. It almost seems like that is geared towards the hardcore player who's going to invest a lot of time. It's a reward to be able to masterwork your armor, but masterworking your armor can have a big impact on some of your loadouts. The stats aside, the fact that you get a +1 on every single stat
+2
in level,
2, yeah, no, it's +2.
Yeah, like that's super helpful, but also just having 10 slots for mods. There's combinations you can do you can't otherwise do if you don't have a masterwork set of armor. So, there's something to be said there. So I don't know what their ideal players. I think they lean more towards wanting it to be this is a time investment type game. It's a looter shooter. You should spend time to get certain loot that's hard and things. But again, at the same time, there's other loot in the game that just gets thrown at you constantly, and you're just all the time dismantling. I lose so much crap from my Postmaster because it's always full. So
you do 3 rounds of Crucible and you're full of blues.
Why does Crucible give you blues, Bungie?
No, once you hit soft cap, why am I still getting blues?
There was a point at which they're like, hey, you're high enough, you're not going to get greens and whites anymore. Why is there not a point where they stop dropping blues? I don't get it. There's a point when blues stop dropping high. They don't go past 1050, right?
Mm-hmm. Yep.
So why do I still get them past 1050? That's what I want to know. That's my question.
Now, not just that, but why are blues more prioritized over the legendaries? I hate when I'm like, oh look, I got a Dire Promise. I want to see what I got, and it went to the postmaster. Why? Because this blue kinetic drop has to replace it first. I don't get it, man.
Yeah, blues are a headache. And they give you. Do they even give you legendary shards? I think they give you one, right? When you
They just
dismantle
give you glimmer. They give you glimmer.
Blues.
Just glimmer.
Just glimmer, dude.
I thought they give you a couple of weapon parts or gunsmith materials.
Ooh, my bad. I take back
I think
everything
one.
I said.
I mean,
Yeah.
one. But I got like 20k gunsmith materials, dude. It's ridiculous. I don't know what I'm gonna do with all those, dude.
You cash them into Banshee, dude, and you get
For what? Like, I got all his mods, dude. Like,
you cash them in for weapons. It's the big weapon pool. That's what you're chasing.
Devil was bringing up this guy who this JB3. I've never heard of JB3. I guess just exploiting different areas of the game that were supposedly inaccessible. And anyways, that's a topic we can jump into next week. And then for sure, this we got to talk more about just the cost of masterworking armor because of sunsetting and how inherently the cost just went up with everything because now you redo it all next year. But yeah, there's a lot more to get into. But I think for now, it's definitely time we jump off and actually play this game for a little bit.
go game a
Definitely
bit,
want to say thank you, big thank you to everybody who has either been listening live or people who go find our podcast later. We're for sure on Spotify, still working on getting up on other areas, Google Podcast, iTunes, all that's still kind of in the works. And thanks for listening along on YouTube or even just joining us here live on Twitch and Facebook. We appreciate you guys. We appreciate you guys being here. Very heartfelt thank you from all of us. Former Guardian, where can people find you if they want to talk with your cute little face after the show?
You guys can talk to me on Twitter at Former Guardian. So look me up.
Excellent. Gamer?
You guys can find me streaming 5 days a week at Not So Gamer on Twitch. You can find me on Twitter at Not So Gamer 91 as well on Facebook. I got new emotes on Twitch, so go check them out.
Rumor has it he does show a little bit of side boob in one of his new emotes.
Yep, come
It's
check
just
it
a
out.
rumor. Hasn't been confirmed. You guys can find me, I mean, if you really want, you can find me on Twitter as well at The Real Beard. We appreciate you guys for being here. We will catch you all next week.
Till next week.
Thanks for tuning in.
Peace out.